when you're going through and talking about your story, it's reminding me of a image or a mirror image of what I saw happening with Tesla. So I wasn't really paying attention to crypto, but back in 2009, 2008, I first heard about Tesla. 2010, I started paying attention, and I saw what was going on. And it sounds very similar in the sense that, like, what Elon Musk was saying and what was happening with the company, if you actually knew the correct way to find information versus like,
Yeah.
if by listening to people in the Bitcoin. And you would see this happening, and it sounds like this is the same exact thing here, where you people who understand what Elon was saying and what his objective was, and then actually followed the company, versus if you listen to what the media has to say. In this case, maybe you listen to, say, maxis of some sort, or just general
Tesla
news.
was always doomed from the start if you listen from those sources, right?
But if you listen, correct.
If you listen to Elon, if you understood his intelligence, his drive, all that stuff, it's just not a combination of the company. It's also the man behind the company, the drive, the passion,
product market fit,
and the product market fit, the foresight, all that stuff you need to paint that full picture. That's why getting your information from multiple sources and not just giving what's given to you on the first dose is so important, to dig deep on this kind of stuff, because this is what Hex ran into issues early on, is the shallow stuff on the surface. And I see it every day, even with my onboards now. The first thing they do when they Google is they see old scam articles, like, well, it says it's a scam. So that kind of scares me, or like, I don't know. And that's it, right? Like their extent of research these days is to just go on Google, click on the first link that comes up. And if it's a scam article, they're just like, I don't know. Like, I feel sketched out. But if they dug deeper, they know, hey, this has been out 2+ years. It is literally the fastest appreciating asset known to man. It's outpacing Bitcoin and Ethereum. It earns you trustless yield. You can get upwards of 38% APY and further. That's just the number we give people, just so it doesn't really blow their minds, because when you do that and the token appreciation, it's thousands of percent. People just can't even comprehend that, and they really think it's a scam. So there's so much further you can delve into it, but most people are just lazy when it comes to looking into this kind of stuff. So they go to Google, read the first thing. If it's negative, that's it. That was the extent of what the work they're willing to put in, right? Just like the gym. Again, it's fun because you could always segue this stuff back to the gym. It's just like people do the New Year's resolution. They go there for the first week or two. They're like, yeah, I'm going to change. I'm going to do this and that. And they realize it's years and years of work and effort they're going to have to put into this. And they just lose the motivation. They get out of the routine, and then they're done. And then they find themselves back to where they were next New Year's, and they're like, I'm going to do that resolution again. And it's just it's an awful pattern to continue to repeat.
Do you believe that certain patterns in history repeat themselves?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So that's what gets me excited about this story, because I was following the FUD on Tesla, and I saw this, but you'd find these weird niche blogs that actually talked about the truth, and the fundamental progress of the company just continued to make progress, even though the news was like, oh, they're going to die, they're going to go bankrupt, there's this, that, and the other thing. But you were looking at the company, you're like, oh wow, they made progress. Like, oh wow, they're producing this many cars per week. Oh wow, now they got to this many cars per week. Oh, they hired this person, and you could see them moving forward, even though the news said the opposite. That is happening. It appears, right? Like, I'm brand new to this. It appears that that's, but then it brings the community closer together, right? Like, in terms of the Tesla community. And back in the day, there was no sources. There was like two sources to find information.
There was nothing. And and it's funny because, like, we talked about this, everyone's like, oh, not that big of a deal. It was, and I was removed, and like I said, that might have protected me a little bit in the beginning from the early FUD, which is nice, but I don't think so. I truly understood what it was and what the value it brought to the table, and like investing in real estate and learning real estate kind of showed that to me, because I was, again, like I said, at a young age, I was always on that hunt for the ultimate passive income, and like Hex is it. It is literally the holy grail of passive income. So to me, it just made sense. I don't think anyone could have ever put me out.
But there's going to be a time. I feel like if history repeats itself, which I believe it doesn't, but the context around it changes. There's a time in, I think it was late 2018 and basically throughout 2019, where the paradigm shift, and if what you're saying about, there's so many parallels about the story you're telling about Hex, about Richard Hart, about the information that he's putting out. There's so many parallels that I'm seeing. I just watched this play out, and there was a time where it was just like, there's this gigantic pile of wins here, and the media is still saying, oh, this is shit. But there's this gigantic, like, there's
that asymmetry is where you make all your wealth. That asymmetry in those two sides, that shows you how much opportunity cost is still available. It's just people don't.
There's going to be an explosion though. There's going to be a point where it tips, and that shit's going to go into like a rocket ship.
It's
that's what happened. Go ahead.
You have people that are like, oh, like Hex has already done this 10,000x, and this is where like I like to push back. To me, it is a better, and we've seen this with Bitcoin and then Ethereum and now Hex. Like they were truly revolutionary when they started, right? Like as much shit as we give Bitcoin, like they were the proof of concept for us. It came along, scam. Even today, traditional finance pushes back against Hex, but you see them starting to get their positions, or against Bitcoin, but you see them getting their positions now. Then Ethereum came out. Okay, Bitcoin maxi, scam, programmable money, blah, 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 blah. And then proof of concept, it showed that you could actually build on this, unlike Bitcoin, and it changed the game. Again, revolutionized the space. Now we have this whole DeFi sector. Now Hex came out. It's just like, hey, you can earn, it's a better store value. You can earn trustless yield while you hold. And like Richard has taught us, holding and building your own cryptocurrency, being a founder, those are the two ways to get extremely wealthy. Now you have to put in the right asset. But these new assets have come along over periods of time, and they've completely changed the game. And what did they face when they first came out? Extreme pushback, because it changed the space. It rewrote everyone's business model in the space.